2016's first gubernatorial debate in North Carolina took place last week between Pat McCrory, the incumbent, formerly the warden from Shawshank Redemption, and somebody who's running as not Pat McCrory, otherwise known as Roy Cooper, the state's attorney general. Okay, technically it was a candidates forum, not a debate, but debate makes for a better headline, so all the media outlets use that, so we're going to use that too. Oh, you didn't watch it? Don't worry, I didn't either. It took place in the middle of the day on a Friday when you were probably skipping work to go to the beach early like everyone else. But I did find the footage and I've carefully reviewed it. Now, much like Finding Dory, it took me about 3 attempts to finally watch this debate all the way through because I kept falling asleep. However, after some extra effort on my part, I'm here and ready to hand out the North Carolina Yesterday Today report card. Can we get a graphic for the report card or a sounder? I know they said ask, but I already asked for one this week. I feel greedy. Next time. First, for the host, the North Carolina Bar Association, who get an A in making politics seem really old and boring.
Time will be carefully monitored by our timekeeper, Charlotte Stewart.
Okay, wake up, people. It's 2016. Did you not see the presidential primary debates? Bernie, Trump, they got it going. You know what kind of numbers Trump versus Hillary is going to do? We've got the hottest race for governor in the country. It's a nuts presidential election year. We have got to step our game and the tempo up a little bit.
I'll ask you all to stand and face the audience as I introduce you.
The moderator of the event, Greg Wilson, will soon be available by prescription only because he's so good at making people fall asleep. He also manages to make reading the rules about as exciting as you'd think reading the rules would be.
Each candidate will have an opening statement of up to 5 minutes. There will be 6 questions asked, 2 from each panelist.
Why do we really need to know what the rules are? We just want to hear the candidates talk and interact. I mean, they know what the rules are, right?
Attorney General is not only not doing his job as Attorney General.
We need to go to our next question, Governor.
I believe I have a rebuttal in the rules.
No, sir. It's 3 minutes for an answer and 2 minutes for rebuttal. We go to the second question now.
Oh, whoops. Looks like we got to give Pat McCrory a B+ in having no idea what the format is. There were like 4 rules total, man. You couldn't learn them? There may have been more rules. I don't know. I might have fallen asleep during them. Next time, if they are going to bore us with the rules being read, maybe have the candidates on stage to hear them too. Okay, we also have to give Pat McCrory an A- in disregarding the next question being asked.
In light of the recent massacre in Orlando and other mass shootings,
McCrory is pretty sure that he, not Game Master Greg Wilson, has the format right, so he protests, which I found to be an unusual move because normally McCrory is not one for doubling down after being wrong. But how about McCrory's opponent, Roy Cooper? Could he seize on the governor's lack of rules awareness and wow the audience?
Along with my office in the Attorney General's office, we've been able to do some big things for North Carolina.
Well, Attorney General Cooper certainly gets an A+ in sounding like the associate minister who's really nice but only preaches twice a year for a reason. And that's bad. All right, what else you got, Coop?
I grew up in rural eastern North Carolina, working on a farm. My mom was a public school teacher.
Okay, all right, that right there earned Cooper an A- in sounding a lot like John Edwards, I guess. I mean, I'm not really feeling the moment being seized here, Coop. We'll come back to you. More Pat McCrory grades. Pat gets an A in patting himself on the back disguised as praise for others.
Well, let me first congratulate Chief Justice Mark Martin. He's been a great partner of mine. I was proud to appoint him as Chief Justice. It's also great to be back home in Charlotte at the Westin Hotel. In fact, when I was mayor of Charlotte, I helped make this process work. This Westin Hotel, we needed a parking garage for the new convention center. We didn't have the money for the parking garage, but we owned this land, so we sold the airspace to the Westin Hotel.
That's right, Pat McCrory owns the air in Charlotte, and you're all fortunate that he allows you to breathe it. Be grateful, or at least, name a road after him or something. McCrory also earns high marks in telling an awkward story about Nikki Haley.
So I told Nikki, I said, Nikki, when I become governor, we're going to kick your tail in South Carolina. She said, may the best woman win.
Flexing a lot.
This is the type of respect that's but real facts of what we're doing. It was an embarrassment, my Commerce Secretary.
And an A+ in phrase repetition.
The good old boy system. The good old boy system. The good old boy system. The good old boy system.
And maybe this is just me, but don't you think there's a lot of self-described McCrory voters who would also be self-described good old boys? I mean, I see what he's trying to say there, but I'm not sure that's the right phrase, you know? Anyway, gotta give him an A for stealing from the Trump playbook. Almost even says country.
This state.
Make this country great again.
This state to rebuild North Carolina and make it great again.
Cooper, any catchphrases of your own to counter with?
I'd tell them to teach right here in North Carolina because hold on, I'm coming.
All right, guess we'll have to give him an A in sounding incredibly white while borrowing a phrase from a soul song. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on. In a more serious grade, I gotta give Cooper a D in debate skills. McCrory was much savvier at strategic scoffing.
For filling out ethics forms and all of the other issues you blame your lawyer. But look,
And calling out Cooper for changing his tune depending on what crowd they were talking to. Cooper, meanwhile, failed to really hammer McCrory about not only what was in HB2, but for how inept the governor looked at the time of its signing when it was clear he wasn't sure exactly what he had signed. At one point, McCrory was even taking credit for bringing PayPal to North Carolina when they didn't end up coming because of HB2. I mean, rules are rules, Cooper, but you gotta object every once in a while, right? Isn't that what attorneys do? Cooper didn't seem as comfortable as McCrory in this debate setting, which is saying something because Governor Pat mostly comes with pre-planned stuff. McCrory would come on sports radio when I was a producer, and he was always nice. He was a good dude, but he always had like cheesy one-liners already planned that he was gonna say, which I get. You go to a lot of stuff, but there was just other guys that could just do it more naturally. Not only do I think both candidates can do better, I think North Carolina deserves better than this stale display of stump speeches broken into a few different categories. One of them was I-77. What? How about a real debate with real questions? Stuff like, what do you agree and disagree with in your party's presidential nominee's platform? Or what has the other candidate done in the past 4 years that you've agreed with? Or how about, what's the solution to Blue Cross Blue Shield having to significantly increase premiums in North Carolina? Those are questions I'd ask, which is why I'd like to invite both candidates to join me for a debate here at the North Carolina Yesterday Today studios in Raleigh. Yeah, it's my house. Or, if you prefer, online on the YouTubes or a Google Hangout or something. Well, we've got the technology. My people could definitely take care of it. The focus? It would be having lively conversation that could best help the citizens of North Carolina decide who to vote for. And to that end, we will want to make it interesting as well as informative. No rules. We're not having rules. You've already proven you're not going to learn them anyway. I can tell you I have voted for both of you in the past, and I've never given any money to either of you. I'll vote for one of you for governor. I don't come into it totally unbiased as a human being. We all got our own biases, but I can promise to be fair to both candidates. I'm a moderately, not overly, educated native North Carolinian who has a few questions for both candidates. Let me know if you're interested, guys. For North Carolina Yesterday Today, I'm Hayes Permar.